Hello students, welcome you all for the course of MBA Semester 3 Human Relations and Legal Framework. Today is our lecture 11 and the topic of our today's discussion is different authorities under Industrial Dispute Act 1947 and their duties. So the primary objective of our today's session is help to understand the different authorities under the Industrial Dispute Act 1947 and what are their duties and how does it will functions. The contents of our today's session are the different authorities under the Industrial Dispute Act 1947 and their duties. So we are going to start a discussion on these different authorities. So we all are familiar with that Industrial Dispute Act and various provisions under that Industrial Dispute Act. So under this Industrial Dispute Act 1947, the appropriate government means the central government and state government, according to their official gazette, they will notified that okay there should be certain kind of authorities that will work primarily for the settlement of that industrial dispute. So this will work as a machinery for settlement of industrial dispute under the process of conciliation, arbitration and adjudication. So these authorities are exactly the Works Committee, Conciliation Officers, Board of Conciliation, Court of Inquiry, Labour Courts, Labour Tribunal, Industrial Tribunal and National Tribunals. So all these authorities, those who can work independently wherever the dispute or some sort of industrial unrest that is happening in that particular industries, the primary responsibility of these authorities to investigate that particular form of industrial dispute or whatever form of conflict that goes in that industrial premises, and to settle that industrial dispute by means of announcement of award. Okay, and that decision would be either binding on some particular parties, those who are involved in that industrial disputes. The nature, function, duties, responsibilities and power of this works committee will vary somewhat, okay, but their primary functions would remains the same, so as to settle the industrial dispute in that particular industrial premises. So let us discuss all these authorities one by one. So the first form of authority that is helpful in settlement of that industrial dispute, that is called as Works Committee. So that Works Committee primarily work to resolve the issues with respect to that industrial unrest or industrial conflict within the industrial premises by means of using some sort of mutual negotiation in between the parties, those who are being connected with that particular industrial dispute. So according to that appropriate government which has been notified in their official gazette, so each and every industrial establishment, okay, those who are having minimum 100 or more workmen employed in that particular industrial premises, okay, or suppose these employees are employed on any working day in the preceding of 12 months, okay, they can constitute one committee and that committee will be called as Works Committee. So Works Committee generally comprises of the representative of the employers and the workmen, those who are engaged in that particular industrial employment. So when we are talking about this form of committee and how does it will exactly functions to settle the form of industrial dispute in that industrial premises. So primarily there will be a representative of workers and the representative of the employer. Those who want to investigate that particular issue internally within an organization and primarily try to resolve that issues by means of using some mutual negotiation in between them. So, what are exactly the duties which are being for which that works committees are being formed? So, these works committee primarily promotes the measures for securing and preserving the amity and good industrial relations in between employer and the workman. So this form of works committee that will primarily directed to enhance the mutual and amicable relations in between the employee and the employer. Okay, so that whatever form of unrest or industrial conflict can be occurring in between them, okay, that should be minimized by their common interest or some using some mutual negotiation in between them. So whatever form of matters which are being connected with, okay, which are generally common in nature, or the concerns and endeavor to compose any material differences of opinion in respect of such matters, okay, with respect to that particular industrial dispute, or whatever matters which has been covered under section 3 and subsection 2, okay, wherever the works committee will be defined in such industry, and they will be take the decisions, okay, and that decision should be mutually communicated in between the parties, those who are being connected with that industrial dispute. The next one is conciliation officer, and that conciliation officer can be set up according to the Industrial Dispute Act 1947 in section 4. So we will already discuss about that conciliation processes, wherever we came to know, okay, how does that the decision could be taken by that conciliation processes. With a duty of mediating in the promoting of settlement of that industrial dispute. Here again the appropriate government, by means of using their official gazette, they can appoint the conciliation officers within that industrial premises to investigate the industrial dispute. So that conciliation officer may be appointed for a specified area or within that specified industries, okay, in that specified area, for one or more specified industries, even also either permanently or for a particular limited period of time. Now appointment of that conciliation officer, that should be in the hands of that appropriate government, either state or central government. So by means of using that official gazette, the government may decide whether they need to appoint a conciliation officer or not. The primary objective behind appointment of that conciliation officers by the appropriate government is to create an congenial atmosphere within the establishment where the workers and employers can reconcile on their dispute through mediation of the conciliation officers. So if suppose any form of industrial dispute or unrest or any conflict that has been happened, so these parties, those are being connected with that industrial dispute, they will approach to that third person, that is called as either conciliation officer or board of conciliation. So here the conciliation officer, that they will try to investigate the issue and provide very congenial form of decision, okay, that should be agreeable to both the parties. If the both the parties are agreed to satisfy that particular award, okay, and implementing that particular decision, then conciliation process will be successful by means of mitigating whatever form of issues that are being connected with that industrial dispute. So what are the duties exactly for which that conciliation officers would be held responsible? These form of conciliation officers, they will enter any form of premises of that industrial establishment, okay, and they will investigate the issues with respect to that particular dispute, and they will finally enforce the attendance of any person for examination and investigate the kind of issues that are being connected with the in any form of industrial dispute in that particular industrial premises. So here primarily the conciliation officer, those who are being mutually negotiating in between these parties, okay, and whatever parties are being connected with this industrial dispute, they are being mutually negotiating, okay, with this conciliation officer, depending on whatever form of terms and conditions of employment within that particular industrial premises, that can be very amicably solved. And finally, the decision could be taken by the conciliation officer, which could be binding on both the parties. Now the next one is called as Board of Conciliation, and that Board of Conciliation can be set up under the Industrial Dispute Act section 5. So whatever form of industrial dispute that can be happening in that industrial premises, if the dispute has not been resolved by means of that appointment of conciliation officer, here by means of that appropriate government, they will notify according to that official gazette to set up the board of conciliation to resolve that particular form of industrial dispute in that particular industrial premises. So they will constitute, the government will constitute the board of conciliation, and in that board of conciliation there will be a chairman and other four other members that are being belonging to the appropriate government, okay. So whichever number of members are being required, okay, on that board of conciliation, that will be decided by the individual state government or central government. It shall be the duty of the board to endeavor to bring about the settlement of that industrial dispute, okay, as similar to our conciliation officers, okay, and it shall without delay investigate the matter which are connected with that industrial dispute. So with certain merits and some sort of right settlement. So the primary duty of that particular form of formation behind that board of conciliation is to investigate that industrial dispute and provide an amicable solution by means of settlement of industrial dispute. The board may also do all such things, okay, which may be considered fit by it. So here primarily the board of conciliation, whatever form of industrial dispute that is occurring in that industrial premises, so they will provide some fair and amicable solution to the industrial dispute. So again whatever form of award or decision that could be taken by that board of conciliation, that should be binding on all the parties those are being connected with that industrial dispute. So in case of settlement of that industrial dispute, the board will prepare the report and submit that report to the government according with certain memorandum of settlement of that industrial dispute, and forward that decision to the parties those who are being connected with that industrial dispute. And whatever form of award has been taken, that should be again binding on all the parties those who are being connected with that industrial dispute. If suppose there is no settlement that has been arrived by means of using that formation of that board of conciliation, the case can be forward to the central government, okay, wherever they will finally decide what to do exactly with the that particular form of industrial dispute, okay, which has not been settled by means of using that board of conciliation. So the government on the observation or report whichever has been submitted by that board of conciliation, okay, they will be the case will be forward to the process of arbitration, wherever the parties those are being connected to us to submit their dispute to the voluntary arbitration processes. So the primary duties which are being connected with the board of conciliation is similar to the works committee, even also the conciliation officers, okay, to enter into the premises and to investigate any matter which are being connected with that industrial disputes. So they will examine, they will compel with respect to whatever form of industrial dispute that is occurring. So they will investigate even the production of documents and appoint one or more people that are being connected with that industrial dispute people those are having some special knowledge with respect to that particular matter. So the board of conciliation that they will decide, okay, whether they need to appoint some any particular person, those who are being expert to resolve that particular dispute exactly, and how does it has been occurred to resolve it. The next one is called as court of inquiry. Okay, so according to the section 6 of Industrial Dispute Act 1947, this act will also provide some provisions to appoint the certain form of officers by means of using that court of inquiry. So here the appropriate government, according to their official gazette, they will notify to that industrial premises to investigate the matter which are connected with the industrial dispute. So court may consisting of one independent person of such number of independent person as an appropriate government, okay, as it may think fit, okay, where the court consisting of two or more other members, one of them shall be appointed as a chairman. So in each and every district, the government of India, even the state government, they will set up the industrial courts even also. Okay, so to investigate the matter which are being connected with the industrial dispute. So whatever form of court of inquiries which are connected with any independent person, that can be investigated under the court of inquiry according to section 6. So there shall be a chairman and other two members, okay, that are being appointed on the in the court of that inquiry processes. The period with which the report is to be submitted is not mandatory, and report may be substantiated even beyond the period of 6 months. So minimum time that should be suggested for any court of inquiry would be for 6 months, okay, without affecting the legality of the inquiry. So that report should be submitted to the to that particular either suppose say state government or central government, and which should be communicated also to the that industrial premises, or the parties those are being connected with that industrial premises. Here the court will investigate the issue, and whatever the matters which are being connected with that industrial premises, it will be investigated and try to settle the industrial dispute just within 6 months, and the report should be submitted to the government. The primary duty with which the court of inquiry which can be conducted, so court can inquire any matters that are being connected with the industrial dispute and report to the appropriate government, ordinarily within the period of 6 months, okay, from the commencement of the inquiry. So that is a primary responsibility with respect to that court of inquiry. The court should investigate that particular matter which are being connected with the industrial dispute, and try to arrive the decision within minimum of 6 month period of time. So that is all about the court of inquiry processes. Now according to section 7, the appropriate government can initiate the process to resolve the industrial dispute by means of setting up the industry labor courts. Okay, so government of India has initiated to start that labor courts almost in all districts of the country, wherever whatever matters which are being connected with that industrial dispute, that should be investigated, okay, according to the second schedule of the Industrial Dispute Act 1947, and performing all other functions that may be assigned to them, okay, whatever has been specified under this act. So the labor court shall consisting of one person only, and okay, and that should be appointed by the appropriate government, either state government or central government. That one person can be act as a chairman, okay, of that particular labor court. As well as there will be some other persons, okay, which can be appointed. Okay, a person shall be qualified for the appointment of the presiding officer of the labor court, unless, okay, whichever person who has been acting as a chairman of that particular labor court, okay, he must be qualified for the appointment of presiding officer of that labor court, okay, and there should be some minimum condition which can be specified, okay, for the appointment of that particular person as a chairman. So he or she shall has been a judge of the high court. So minimum prescribed criteria for appointment of that particular person, so he must be a judge of the high court. he has for a period not less than 3 years being a district judge or additional district judge. Minimum criteria to appoint that particular person as a chairman of that particular court. Okay, so either he will be 3 years experience as a district judge or additional district judge. Okay, he has been held as a judicial office in India for not less than 7 years. So any form of judicial services which has been made for 7 years, such kind of person even can be appointed as a chairman for that labor courts. So he has been the presiding officer of the labor court constituted under the provincial act or state act, okay, for not less than 5 years. uh, the matters which are being connected with the labor court in their subsidiary offices somewhere else. Okay, so minimum 5 years experienced person can be appointed, okay, by the central or state government, okay, under whichever form of provincial act or state act are supposed to be there. When the industrial dispute has been referred to the labor code for adjudication process. Now try to remember over here, in case of uh, labor court, okay, there will be a process of adjudication, and prior to that there is a voluntary arbitration process. Now in case of adjudication, the award has been taken and that should be binding on both the parties. So whatever form of judgment has been taken, okay, by that particular adjudication processes in that labor court, that should be binding on that all the parties which are being connected with the industrial disputes. So that labor court generally what exactly that they will do, so they will hold the proceeding expeditiously, okay, and investigate the issues that are being connected with that industrial dispute, submit the award to the appropriate government soon after the conclusion of the proceedings. So whatever proceeding goes during that investigation, the labor court will investigate both the parties, okay, either labor or trade union or the management of that organization, and announce that decision would be communicated to the central or state government whichever has been connected with it. So no time period has been laid down for the completion of the proceeding, but it is expected that such court will hold the proceeding without going to the technicalities of a civil court. Now the matters which are being connected with the civil courts, okay, that will be investigated separately, okay, under the civil courts. Okay, here there is no prescribed time has been made, okay, in that labor court, so they will investigate the issue independently, okay, and try to make some mutual settlement in between, okay, labor and management, and whatever decision has been taken, that should be binding on both the parties. The primary duty which should be held responsible for that labor court, okay, they will enter the any form of industrial premises to and or establishment that is related to the any form of industrial dispute wherever it has been happened in the industry. So they will enforce the attendance of any person or examination and compel the production and documents, appoint one or more people, okay, those are having some special knowledge as compared to our board of conciliations. Okay, there will be a similar form of duties, okay, that we are recently discussing board of conciliation. So labor court will work in this direction and investigate the issues or matter which are connected with the industrial premises. The next one is called as labor tribunals, okay, which has been set up according to the section 7A of Industrial Dispute Act 1947, wherever appropriate government according to their official gadget that can be notified to that industrial premises to try to approach to the industrial tribunal, okay, so that they can investigate the issues, okay, which are being connected with with that industrial dispute or any form of industrial unrest or the conflict, okay, by means of using the process of adjudication. So in again it is a process of adjudication wherever some judgment has been announced by means of using that labor tribunal. So it has been specified under the second schedule and the third schedule of the Industrial Dispute Act 1947 to resolve the issue that are being connected with the industrial premises by means of using labor tribunal. If the issue which has been not been resolved by means of using the prior authorities, say for example the labor court, so the issue can be resolved by means of using that labor tribunals. So a tribunal shall consisting of one person only, okay, and which should be appointed by the appropriate government. So there shall be some one particular person that can be a chairman of that labor tribunal. So a person shall not be qualified for the appointment of that presiding officer of the tribunal. So there will be some minimum criteria to appoint the presiding officer as a chairman of that labor tribunal. So he or she shall be the judge of the high court, okay. So at least the minimum criteria would be there, okay. He or she must be the judge of the high court. He has for a period of not less than 3 years, okay, he has been a district judge or an additional district judge. So minimum criteria at district level judge or additional district level judge, he must have an experience of 3 years. So appropriate government finds over here if the person thinks, okay, he can be appointed that particular person, or he can the appropriate government can appoint two person, okay, that can be an assessor to advise the tribunal in the proceeding before it. So there shall be other two members which can be appointed on that labor tribunal, okay, and that they will suggest to that particular presiding officer or who is the chairman of that particular labor tribunal. So further, the persons has been appointed as a presiding officer should be an independent person, must have not have attained the age of 65 years. So whoever will be the chairman or presiding officer, okay, they shall not complete the minimum age of 65 years, okay. So that is a primary condition for appointment of that presiding officers at the labor tribunal. Again there will be similar form of duties, okay, that can be investigated in case of that labor tribunal. So it is a adjudication process. So whatever issues which has been connected with that industrial matter, okay, with respect to any industrial establishment, so they will investigate the issues, enforce the attendance of any person, identify any examination, compel the production documents, appoint one or more persons which are having some special knowledges, okay, with respect to that particular industry. They can be appointed over here and try to investigate the matter and resolve the issue by means of using the process of adjudication, and finally the judgment would be taken, and that judgment would be binding on that both the parties which are being connected with that industrial dispute. The next one is called as Industrial Tribunal, and Industrial Tribunal has been specified under the section 10 of Industrial Dispute Act 1947. So according to the jurisdictions which has been specified according to that appropriate government under section 10, okay, the government has laid down some particular conditions to regulate some particular things with respect to that industrial tribunals, okay. So here the government can nominate a particular person to constitute the tribunal for adjudication of the industrial dispute as and when they arises, and refer to them to it. So there shall be some particular person which has been appointed by the appropriate government to investigate the issues and matters which has been connected. So that particular person can be appointed by the government of India, okay, to refer the industrial matters which are being not resolved by the previous authorities, okay, to the central government. So the case can be forwarded to the industrial tribunal. So here tribunal may constituted for any limited or particular case, okay, for a particular case or that particular area. So tribunal can be formed, okay, on the basis of whatever form of report has been submitted to that central government if the case has been not resolved by the previous authorities. If the appointed for a limited period, okay, it ceases to the functions after the expiry of the term, even when some matters are still pending. Sometimes what happens ki whenever the process of resolving the industrial dispute by prior authorities are not even completed, okay, or cases to be function even after the expiry of the term, okay, or even when the matters which are being still pending, okay, by means of the previous authorities, okay, that particular person who has been appointed by the government of India, okay, they can refer the dispute for to the industrial tribunal. So it does not mean that the intensity of the problem could be get increased, okay, and immediately the government those who are being primarily monitoring the situation within that industrial premises and within that particular area also. So if suppose the problem of intensity increases, so there may be the huge problem which cannot be resolved very easily, to immediately, okay, that particular person who has been appointed by that appropriate government, okay, report to that particular central or state government, okay. Further, when the tribunal concludes its work and submit the award to the appropriate government, okay, it does not extinguish the authority of the tribunal, and nor does it render to the tribunal functioners officers officio. So whatever matters those are being connected with the industrial dispute, okay, with respect to whenever it has been referred for the process of adjudication under the industrial tribunal, that industrial tribunal can announce the award or submit that award to the appropriate government, okay, and it does not extinguish the authority of that particular tribunal, nor does it render to the tribunal functions officio. So it will not mean exactly the authority those who are being working under that particular tribunals, okay, their primary responsibility is to what, to report to the central or state government. So here the authority will only communicate whatever decisions that they have been taken, and whether it should be implemented or not, whether the issue has been solved or not, okay, that should be communicated to the that appropriate government. The government can refer for to it for the clarification on any matters that are being related with the prior award. If the issues have been not resolved by means of using that prior award, okay, by me, if suppose the parties those who are being connected with that industrial dispute, they are not agreed on whatever form of terms and conditions of the employment, so in that case, okay, the government can refer for any kind of clarification from the industrial tribunal, and if it has not been resolved completely, okay, then the central government thinks over it and can transfer the case to the national tribunal, okay. That will depends on some particular terms and conditions of employment, or suppose the issue has been very important, which becomes a national interest after some time. So the duties and responsibility, again it is same as compared to the earlier authorities. Also, okay, so on reference to any industrial dispute, the tribunal shall hold its proceeding expeditiously and submit it to the appropriate government. So the parties which are being connected to that industrial dispute, okay, wherever whatever form of adjudication process goes, okay, that decision or award or judgment, okay, that can be binding on all the parties those are being connected with the industrial dispute. Now the last authority of our today's discussion, that is called as national tribunal, okay, and that national tribunal can be suggested in this section 7b of industrial dispute act 1947. So here again, if the issues which are being not resolved, either they would be referred for to this settlement of that industrial dispute, that should be transferred to that national tribunal, okay. But national tribunal has been primarily made to resolve the industrial dispute related matters under certain stipulated conditions. uh, Wherever the adjudication process has been there, again whatever form of award which has been taken, okay, that judgment should be binding on all the parties those who are being connected with that industrial dispute. It involves a question of national importance. Whenever any particular issues or industrial dispute or matters which are connected with that industrial dispute, okay, it becomes a very important issue, and after some time it is a form some part of that national importance, and are such a nature that industrial establishments are situated in more than one state and are likely to be interested in or affected by such disputes. So if suppose the industrial dispute occurring in more than one state, okay, and that may cause to the industrial unrest in almost all premises of the country or many of the premises of the country, so there will be a possibility that, okay, that problems will become huge, okay, after some period of time. So in that case the case can be referred to the national tribunal. So the national tribunals are consisting of one person only, okay, that should be appointed by the central government, and that will be act as a chairman of that national tribunal. The person shall not be qualified for the appointment of presiding officer for the national tribunal unless he or she shall been a judge of the high court. So there will be a minimum condition, okay, to become the presiding officer as a chairman, okay. So that the person must be judge of the high court. So the central government may, if he thinks so fit, that okay, appoint two other more persons, okay, as an assessor to advise the national tribunal to the to in the proceedings before it. So it is a primary the responsibility of that national tribunal person. So court may think over here, or the government may think over here to appoint two or more person and act as a assessor, and they will suggest the national tribunal in the proceedings whenever the proceeding goes. So according to section 7c, further provide that the presiding officer should be an independent person and must have not have attained the age of 65 years. So there will be a minimum criteria to appoint that presiding officer as a chairman of that particular national tribunal. So he must have a minimum age of 65 years. Similar is the duties and other responsibilities which are being connected with that national tribunal also. So here whatever matters which are being connected with that national tribunal, so when a matter has been referred to the national tribunal, it must be it must adjudicate the dispute expeditiously and submit the award to the central government according to whatever provisions have been made under the section 15. And other similar duties has been there. So they will enter the any kind of premises of the any industrial establishment, okay, and related to that particular dispute, enforce the attendance of any person. So they can ask the any person for examination, compel the production process, even they can stop the industrial processes, okay, or complete production, appoint one or more person, okay, those are having some specialized matter which are being connected with that particular industrial premises. So to resolve that particular form of industrial dispute which is of national importance, okay, or the issues which become serious, okay, or which can spread in which there is a possibility that which can be spread in one or more state of the country. In that case, the dispute can be resolved by means of using that national tribunal. So that's all about our today's session. We will see some other aspects of that Industrial Dispute Act in the next session. Thank you very much.